The Innerman Institute gathered a group of men to talk about issues of women abuse, the latest femicide incidences, and how men can be the solution to this crisis in the country. The newly formed NPO came about as three friends confronted their own issues, from deep-seated anger that keeps rearing its ugly head to getting physical with their partners. Whether it was some attendees standing up to introduce themselves as, "Hi, I am so-and-so and I am trash," or others confessing to having attempted suicide before, what became clear during the sharing session was that men are confronted with problems of their own. Joining us from the Institute, let me introduce you to my guests that are here to talk about this. I first got Ndaedzo, Nethondzhe. Thank you. Got it right, eh? Thank you so much. Thanks very much for being with us. And Mashudu, gosh. And I practiced this 4 times. Let me try this again. Netshidzivhani.
Correct.
Netshidzivhani.
My father will be happy to hear this.
Well, you know, I wanted to make him proud and do that properly for him. Thank you. Thank you very, very much for being with us here on the program for, I think, what's going to be a very, very serious discussion. Now, let me start with you. You said men are expected not to cry, yet they hurt in the same way, which has led you to just, I suppose, shut down. The Institute is meant to deal with the inner being of a man. Are men having these conversations with other men?
Well, what we did pick up from our first session, we're going to be having a lot of these sessions. Our next one is in about 3 weeks from now. But we did pick up from the first one is that men have a lot of emotional baggage that they're bottling inside. One guy actually went on to say, men internalize things. So while we are going through problems, we rarely sit around the table as men and talk about them and sort of try and find solutions where another man will be able to help me navigate through life. But we rather focus on us going through this thing by ourselves and hoping that we'll be able to, find our way through life. And we did pick up that there's a lot of emotional problems that men face, but they do not want to talk about.
They want to talk about, they don't want to confront, which we're going to talk about now, and we're going to find out what some of those issues are that men were talking about yesterday, but that came up at the gathering. Mashudu, you, however, came with a completely different standpoint, and it was when you stood up and you actually said, I'm a good man. What makes you a good man? How do you see yourself as a good man?
My experiences, my references are, I was married before, I know my mistakes, I know my expectations. I think it is important that we as well have, as much as we know the bad, I'm supposed to know the good as well. I'm a good man, I can tell you this now, because I do all the things that are supposed to be done by men. I have realized this because my father taught me to be a father, but he never taught me to be a husband. So these are important things. It is for that reason why when we are gathered and when one is talking about the bad experiences that he has, this is where all of us are going to be learning from each other. It means that I don't have to get into trouble that other men have gone through, but I'm a good man still. Okay.
Now, Ndaedzo, I don't know if I can call you a good man.
No, sure.
I'm not sure if I'm able to do that as well, because you came out, you spoke about the fact that you did beat your girlfriend up.
Yeah, I did.
Why? Why did you do that?
You see, and that is the most important question, because I could have chosen to walk away. I could have chosen to just for that moment shut down and not let my emotions get the better of me. I went into this session and I said, I want to talk about this. I want to understand myself better, because that question that you just asked me, before the session, I did not know why. I reacted out of anger, and I could have reacted in a different way. While I was sitting in that session, I got to understand why I could have reacted in that way. And this was because there were people that were giving me solutions to the problem that I may have, that I decided to confront. And the answer to that was simple. I have short-temper issues that I must deal with in different ways. In a forum like this where we sit as men, if it is of a higher escalation, I need to go speak to psychologists and just find out ways of dealing with that temperament. So before this session, I kept on asking myself, but why did you feel the need to even do that? Because I did not understand. But after that, I sort of got a way, that navigation that I was talking about, where we speak and navigate through life. And we understood that every single person, every single human being, male or female, they've got emotions. And one of those emotions is anger and temper. And it is up to you to control that.
Is it on, how many occasions have you? I mean, is it one girlfriend
No,
that you've
happened
hit?
once, yeah.
So it's happened once.
Yeah.
It was in anger.
Yeah. Situation.
How did you deal with it? I mean, what did you do thereafter?
The first thing was that I shut down for a couple of hours. And the next thing she asked me, why did you do it? I said, listen, if I come up with whatever answer that I come up with right now will be an excuse for my actions.
Yeah.
And I do not want to come up with an answer to say, you said this to me or you did this wrong, because it would be an excuse and I would not be taking ownership of my actions. So after that, we sat down. We actually sat down with my father, and he spoke to us and he made us understand, ways and means of dealing with situations like this.
Yeah.
And I also sat down with her afterwards, and over and above apologizing, I felt that I needed to deal with myself. It happened quite a while back, but still I wanted to understand
where that came from.
Where that came from, and especially with what has been happening recently. I found myself, even being ashamed to talk about the recent incidents on social media.
So does it, if you don't speak about it, I mean, for what you personally did, and I just want to bring you into the conversation because I don't want to constantly focus on that issue. But Mashudu, surrounding yourself with men yesterday that work at the conference, confessing that they had abused, that in fact I'm reading here that in a room of 30 plus men, only 3 lifted their hands when asked who hasn't been confronted by their loved one for not cheating on them. I mean, that is frightening. What is it like for you to be surrounded by these type of men? And these are normal, everyday men.
And they were telling the truth. But what I have learned from that session was we are, as men, we are morally wounded. That's where we have to begin to understand where we are so that we can build up from there. I think the way I look at it is I've never beaten a woman before, ever. I think it is because I've never seen it in my house. My father and my mother never fought, ever.
Yeah.
But later in life, I asked, why is it that you don't fight? And they said, we do fight, but we chose not to fight in front of you. So I didn't learn that, ever. So I think there's more to do with grooming. We're grooming our children to become violent. And then I'm realizing now exactly what is going on in schools, that kids are becoming notorious and so bad, and we tend to wonder. It is because we're grooming them. We're making them to be who they are.
Yeah.
Kids are making mistakes, and then when we go to school, we pretend as if my child will never do this and so forth on, instead of wanting to understand that this is a problem and we have got to work ourselves out of it.
To do something about it. And I like the way you say that, because it is how we're bringing up our children. And I think that, I mean, that's what everybody's been speaking about. It's getting back to family values. But what about you? Can you blame it on your upbringing?
No, I can't.
You can't?
I can't.
Where did it come from? I mean, I'm trying to understand this. So you were having an argument with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
You turned around, you didn't like what she said, and you hit her.
Exactly. Now,
how did you feel afterwards? Did you feel satisfied?
No.
That you got that anger out?
No, I didn't at all. In fact, on my way out of the house that morning, I cried. I don't know whether I was crying because of the words that she said to me, because before the fight, I was crying because of what I did to her.
Did she go at your manhood? Did she have a go at you as a man?
She did.
And do you think that's where it lies? Is that men are perhaps trying to protect their manhood as much as they possibly can?
One person from that session, and we're having a private conversation afterwards, he said that women don't realize the strength that they have in their words, and men realize the strength that they have in their physical being. Yeah. So words can break, words from a woman insulting a man can break a man easily, and a man can easily break a woman physically. And I think there's something that's something that we need to address, and that's where the grooming part comes in. Most of the young, I'm a father to an 8-year-old girl. Yeah. I wouldn't want her to be beaten up by a would-be boyfriend in future. So what we need to understand is that young men, young boys need to be taught that women are emotional beings and men are rational beings. So we need to understand that as we grow, if a woman reacts in an emotional manner, sometimes she will say words that are hurtful. You need to understand that that's her emotional being that is just there as a woman. And if we get to that part where we even now, at our age, we can still groom a person to understand that women are emotional beings. Because I also learned that recently, lack of that understanding leads to what happened with me, where she just said words. And she also, at a later stage, realized that, no, some of the words that she might have said were insulting to my manhood. But I could have chosen...
There's still no excuse.
Yeah, it's not an excuse.
No,
so what I'm saying is, she realized those words, but I could have understood that that's her emotional being, that's the woman being emotional. Because at the end of the day, as men, we need to be leaders. So I could have not reacted to her emotional being because I understood that she's a woman and that's how women are, you know.
Yeah. I believe that you knew Sandile Manswe.
Yes,
correct. Do you know him as well?
No,
Sandile is the man who's allegedly, he's being accused of killing Karabo.
Oh yes.
Yeah, indeed. Now, I mean, like you and many other men on the day spoke about the fact that they are no different. That anger that may have engulfed Sandile. I mean, and again, this is still in court, so we can't accuse him of anything right now. But we're just using it as an example. That it could land up in the same position. So it's learning to control.
That's precisely what
these emotions, these feelings.
I think all of us will be confronted one way or the other on a daily basis. When I wake up in the morning, choose to be positive. It doesn't mean that there are no wrong things or bad things that will happen to me or here. So it's a choice that I take at that moment.
Yeah.
Think about it. I think if I know where I want to be in 5 years from now and something wrong happens, I have a choice to say, do I want to reach that 5-year plan? If I don't, then I'll get confrontations and so forth on, so I end up in jail. But if I don't want that, because I know where I'm going to be in 5 years, I'll be content. I'll go back and say, look, this is what happened. I have to stay positive, but I have got my 5-year plan. I think we should know where we want to go, not just waking up in the morning and just accompanying and blending in. We have to stand out.
Are men trash? Is this hashtag, is it right to be using a hashtag like that? Men are trash. You say you're a good man. Does it offend you to hear that?
No, it does not, because
It doesn't offend you?
Not at all.
No.
Do you like the hashtag, men are trash? Do you think it's the right thing?
I think it's a wake-up call.
Yeah?
I think it's talking to us so that most of us are supposed to look within to find out what's really going on. Look, the way I look at it, all of us have got the answers within us. So when we get awoken up with the hashtags like those, and then you have to question yourself, am I really a good man? Really?
Yeah. When I look in the mirror, am I proud of what I do on a daily basis?
That's fine.
Do you think men are trash?
No, I don't think men are trash in the literal sense.
Do you think you are trash for what you did?
I thought I was trash.
But have you gotten over that? Do you feel like you've moved on?
No. I actually understood why there was men are trash hashtag, because it's a wake-up call.
Yeah.
I went on social media and saw some people defending that. And that was just a way to address the issue, to get us men. I mean, I can safely say without doubt, also speaking on his behalf, that if this incident of Sandile Manswe and other incidents had not happened, we wouldn't have found ourselves in a situation where we've got an institute like this which says, what are we men doing about this?
Yeah.
So the men are trash hashtag, I think it's relevant, I think it's a wake-up call, and I think we need to look within ourselves. It's not in the literal sense that you are not needed in society or you are a bad person. It's just to look within yourself, the inner man, and ask yourself, am I really trash? am I contributing positively towards society? As I sit here, I'm actually proud that I'm able to talk about my story without shame.
Which is great.
Because
and it is, and we're so happy because it's understanding the workings of the mind. It's understanding that, yes, I have done wrong, but I can be better.
Yeah.
And I am better than that, and I must not do that. And we thank you for coming in and being so honest. If people want to join this NGO, if they want to be a part of this, how do they do that? Can they?
Yeah, they can.
What do they do?
They can. We've got a Facebook page, we've got an Instagram page. There's the Innerman Institute. They can also give us a ring on 063 299 6862. 063 299 6862. We will be having our next session. It's on grooming fathers because it's Father's Day
coming up. Father's Month.
Yeah.
But in that part, we're not going to forget about grooming husbands as well, because that's the most important part. You make your partner happy, you know that the family is going to be in contact.
Excellent. Guys, thank you for talking to us. You know what's quite incredible is when you look at people and you say, gosh, you know, in a lineup, choose the guy who you think would give his girlfriend a hit. And I can promise you, I would never think any one of you. And that just shows you that it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter. It's got nothing to do with that. It's what's happening inside. And you can have all the money in the world and no money in the world. And it's still, it knows no boundaries. But I thank you for opening up. I thank you for talking to us. And I can see from the reaction from viewers that they've enjoyed this conversation as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Please join in the conversation if you'd like to continue sending in your tweets. We'll hopefully get an opportunity to read some of them. Thanks, guys. Thank you very, very much. Let's take a quick break. We're running into a bit of trouble with time here. Stay tuned.